This is Becki Young from Grossman, Young and Hammond. Today is Thursday, March 19th. This video will cover the topic of unemployment compensation. We've received a lot of questions in recent days about unemployment compensation for immigrant and non-immigrant workers. And there are two aspects of this question. The first aspect is, can you receive unemployment compensation? And then the second aspect is, should you? So with regard to the first question, can you receive it? In order to be able to receive unemployment compensation, you have to be available to work. And so for most non-immigrant workers, those individuals are only allowed to work for a specific employer. So if their employment terminates, they're generally not considered available to work. The same holds true for undocumented workers. On the other hand, there is a category of individuals with employment authorization documents. Those would be F1 students with OPT, adjustment applicants, asylees, refugees, and asylum applicants. Those individuals have unrestricted work authorization, so generally would be found available to work. The same rings true for green card holders or immigrants. Those individuals are authorized to work for any employer, and so if they lose their job, would be available to work. So there are some creative arguments that have been suggested by a legal services organization. We have not made these arguments, but just putting them out there in the event that they're needed for those individuals who want to try to make creative arguments. The first one is, if you're physically available for work, regardless of whether you have employment authorization, does your physical availability mean you're available for work? The second one are categories of individuals who could be authorized for work upon receipt of an employment offer. So TN is one of them. If you receive an employment offer and you're qualified for TN status, are you available for work? The third category are immigrants or individuals who've applied to renew their work authorization but haven't yet received it. So if you are in a category without automatic extension, but you're waiting for work authorization, are you available to work? Those individuals might be able to argue that their underlying status allows them to work and the reissuance of the card is simply a formality. So those are just some creative legal arguments that might be available for individuals wishing to try to collect unemployment compensation. However, before collecting or attempting to collect unemployment compensation, I think we need to address the second question, which is, should you? So most non-immigrant workers, H-1Bs, Os, J-1s, have to work to maintain their status. If you stop working, you're no longer in valid status. There is an exception or a grace period for certain workers, those in H-1B, H-1B1, E3, and O1 status, who receive a 60-day grace period on cessation of employment. The question really is whether collecting unemployment would sort of amplify the violation if you're already out of status. Is it any worse if you're also collecting unemployment compensation? And I think the concern among the immigration law community is the public charge issue. So the federal administration has recently been very concerned about this issue of public charge and whether immigrants and non-immigrants will become a burden on the federal government. So by the black letter of the law, the collection of unemployment compensation does not render you a public charge. However, there's a huge amount of discretion, both in the issuance of visas by the Department of State and also the issuance of benefits by the Department of Homeland Security. So the concern is that until the government actually makes a statement about this topic, that anyone who tries to collect unemployment insurance and later applies for a visa or any immigration benefit is taking a very large risk. So we have heard anecdotal evidence in the past about individuals who have been denied visas or benefits due to receipt of unemployment insurance. Whether that was a mistake or an unfavorable exercise of discretion, we don't know, but we simply want everyone to be aware of the risks. And obviously, everyone needs to make their own decisions based on their the safety and needs of themselves and their families at this very unprecedented time. Thank you, and I hope that has answered some questions. Have a wonderful evening.